Muted. Oh, that's fine. Okay. Happy Sunday, everyone. I hope that we are doing pretty good. This is the day that Jesus has made, that we should rejoice and be glad in it, because God is good and worthy of all our praise. We're going to start right away with the word of prayer, and we'll get right into our day's study and revision, as the case may be. Father, thank you for this beautiful Sunday. Thank you for the grace to be alive, to be well, and to be strong in the name of Jesus. We acknowledge your presence. We pray as we get into the Bible, we get into your word. We pray you speak to us, lead us, Father, and guide us in Jesus' name. We also pray, Father, that as we are going to study after getting to your word, we pray you take total and absolute control. May your name alone be praised, honored, and glorified. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen. Amen. All right, so let's get into the word. So let me bring the Bible here. Okay, so we ended yesterday, John chapter 3. We finished on verse 36 about the reason why people will go to hell, for those who actually go to hell, why they will. Okay, let's continue. We're going to John chapter 4. We start John chapter 4, verse 1. He says, "Now Jesus learned that the Pharisees had heard that he was gaining and baptizing more disciples than John, even although in fact it was not Jesus who baptized, but his disciples. So he left Judea and went back once more into Galilee." Yeah, it's just a historical fact that happened. We here see Jesus. He's like, I guess he was in a town there, just walking around, and he's told that, oh, actually the Pharisees, they say that you get more disciples than John. Of course, all of us know John the Baptist, the cousin of Jesus Christ, who is his elder brother. He's kind of more advanced in age than Jesus is. So he started his ministry before Jesus, of course, as well. And so the Bible here says that he heard about the fact that the Pharisees thought, that he was having more disciples than John because he was baptizing, even though it was not he that was baptizing, it was his disciples. So after that, he left Judea and went back once more to Galilee. So he leaves one town and goes to another. But what's the point here? The point here is that Jesus heard how people that already did not like him very much started thinking probably even more worse of him because of what they assumed about him. The question is, how do we react when we feel as though people get a bad idea of us? Especially, of course, in the case where what they are thinking about us is not right. Someone said, at least Pastor Creflo, he said that the worst fear a man can ever have is the fear of man. That is the worst fear a man can ever have. You can have fear of a tiger, a lion, a snake. That's fine, even though you're not supposed to fear anything because God has not given you a spirit of fear. But I mean, this thing of what will people say? Exactly, what will people say? That's the worst kind of place to be in this world, because in most cases, people will think more evil of you than they will think good of you. That is just the way it is. So here he says, Jesus did not care. Well, let me say it another way. Jesus did not put a high priority that much on what people say about him. He put a higher priority on what God says about him. It's not, I wanted to say it does not matter, but it does not matter much. Actually, I can say it's not actually matter in any way, shape, or form what people said about him. I mean, some people called him the son of the devil. Some people said he was delivering demonized people from the power of the devil. Others were just criticizing him. They were thinking all evil things of him. But you never see in the Bible a time when Jesus Christ came and saw the Pharisees and say, oh, these Pharisees, the Pharisees, if you compare with today's day, they are kind of like the pastors, the reverends, the teachers of the churches, like the church people, basically. You never see him come and say, oh, Pharisees, you guys, I am the Son of God, So I apologize for hurting your feelings. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that we're supposed to be, anti-human beings. Absolutely not. He loved human beings. But the point is, he never apologized for the goodness of God in his life, of what God did through him. He never, in fact, his life purpose was to live as God wanted. He did not care what others thought. I mean, they thought that, oh, this guy, he's already healing people and all of this. Now he goes again and baptizes, giving people more than John Baptist. Already they did not like John. And again, Jesus Christ comes. They don't like him. And he's John's cousin. And he does even more than what John did. You can imagine the image they had of Jesus. But he did not give them a priority. That is not his priority. And that is exactly what God is calling you and I to. A life where, let me not say you don't care, but let me say it is not the highest priority in your life. Like, yeah, you would like for people to like you, but even if they don't, he didn't care. Even when the disciples left him, he was like, oh, okay. God is with me. Look at the entire time he walked from when they came and arrested him until he went to die at Golgotha. Look at all that time. It's not, let me not say it's not care the disciples went over there, but even though you could say he was alone, he was not actually alone because God was with him all through the way. And that is the life that God is calling you and I to, a life where we prioritize, we acknowledge and honor God's presence with us more than we acknowledge the presence of any human being with us. Because human beings, they will come and go. They will fail you. At one time or another, they will fail you, but God never will. Jesus here did not care what people said or thought of him. Neither should you care what people say or think of you. You shouldn't. It shouldn't even be, it should not even cross your mind what they think about you. It should not. It should never. And that is the point that God is giving you and I today. He says, my son, my daughter, don't make that a priority. Oh, what would they think? Sure, they will think something. But if what they think is not the truth, okay, just move on. He never apologized for the goodness of God. Neither should you, neither should I. Just do what God says and then move on. If they follow you, fine. If they don't, fine. You follow God. When you think of the disciples, they were walking with Jesus Christ and following him. They were going to somewhere. And then he spoke to John and said, John, you shall, I think, was it John? Yeah, it was John, the last chapter of the book of John. He said, John, follow me. And then he said that one of the disciples was not going to die or something. And then, okay, it was Peter. He told Peter to follow. And then Peter said, Jesus, what about John? This thing that you said, does it mean just say, what is it to you? Follow me. And that's exactly what God is telling you and I today. What is it to you? What people say. It is not your focus. Your focus is follow me. That's all. There is a focus that Jesus had. He followed God. He did not follow man. He's not, that's not the priority. He followed God. And that is exactly what God is calling you and I to do. He's calling us to a life of just following him. He don't care. People believe in him, fine, they don't. Okay. But he followed God. That was his priority. And that is supposed to be a priority for you and I today. I pray we submit and follow God as has promised and asked us to do. In Jesus' name. Amen. Let's pray. Father, thank you for your word today. You're calling us to just follow. Not to give a high priority to what people think, but to look at what you think of us. Help us to put a higher priority on what you think than on what people think. In Jesus' name. We pray, Father, your name will be honored and praised in all we do. As we start today with Kubernetes still, Lord, help us to understand this thing. Help us not only to understand, but to be able to apply this thing, that tomorrow we will not get just any job, but we'll get a solid and good job, the one that you have for us. In Jesus' name. Thank you, because we know that it's not by might. It's not our ability. It is your ability in us. We appreciate you, we thank you, and we love you. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we have prayed. Amen. 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 All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. So I can see there's someone has joined, and the person's name is admin. Please, who is that? Who is the person with the name admin? Like I told you guys, it's good to log in with the name. At least make sure I'm aware. Can I please know who the person is that's named admin? Who is that? I can see camera on, but I cannot see any person sitting there. I don't know who that is. Okay, let's start. Down the line in the class, if I don't know who the person is, I will just have to kick the person out. I need to know who the person is. I need to, because I just can't just allow people into the class. Okay. So yesterday we finished our slide talking about Kubernetes. We talked about it and everything. So today, like I told you guys, I will start with the cluster. I told you guys to create a cluster before joining. I don't know those who did. But if you didn't, that's fine. It shouldn't take too much time. So I'm going to launch the cluster creation while we are in class. Okay, let me see. You have enough quota to create this cluster. Oh, what is this? What quotas do I need? I thought I did the previous one. Let me go and check something here. Okay, you know what I'll do? Okay, I know what I'll do. Let me see here, 7-day peak usage. Okay, what I'll do is I'll go to second project and create it over there. Okay, so here, let me go to GKE. Here it is, GKE, and Kubernetes engine. So I'll go and create my cluster here. Let's see here, enable the API first. Enable the API. So yesterday I spoke about Kubernetes. Like I said, we finished the PowerPoint slide, and just a question: are we in class, Ms. Karen, Ms. Jenny, Mr. Kida? Are we there? Or
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Yes, sir.
perfect.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And the person admin, who is that again? The person still hasn't answered. Okay, let's wait. Okay, so let's wait for it to build up to enable my API there. So we finished yesterday speaking about Kubernetes. We spoke about the different types of deployments. And like I told you guys, that's not the focus. The focus really is for us not to know the different kinds of deployments, but to understand, first of all, how to create it, how to deploy, and how to do all of that. It is still enabling here for me. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and we're going to do the same thing today. So you can see this is a repository. This is our, let me see, I'm not looking for this. I'm looking for this. Let me go back to my list of repositories. Let me go back here, repositories. Let me see, this is the one. I think this is it. Let me see here, this is it. Engineers deployment. Yes, okay. So we're going to do the same thing. Yesterday we created a deployment. I told you guys it's always better instead of creating a pod, or let me go back to the diagram. Instead of creating a pod, since a pod, remember the pod just contains just the information to create the pod. And when you create the pod directly, you're telling Kubernetes that you're taking charge of recreating in case it fails. Which as a human being, you may not be there. If you're handling hundreds of pods, you cannot do that. So you can't do that. Second scenario, you create a replica set, which is also good. But the issue with the replica set is you cannot, for example, do another deployment. You cannot shift from one, let's say, using the WhatsApp example, you cannot go from WhatsApp version white background to WhatsApp version black background with a replica set. So we went to the idea of deployment. We said deployment are way better to use than replica set or pods. Why? Because a deployment contains a replica set, which contains a pod. So rather than creating, so let's say tomorrow, you're in an interview, they ask you, okay, now, in managing your Kubernetes, is it better to go with pods, replica sets, or deployments? The answer will be, it depends on what you're trying to do. But if you are trying to do the whole set of it, you go with the deployment. And if they ask you why, you say it's because a deployment contains replica sets that contains pod. And with the deployment, you can manage the restart of the replica set, you can manage the spinning up of new replicas, and you can also manage the scaling up and down, automatic scaling up and down, and also the deployment types, rather than using replica set or a pod. Okay, so let me go back here. It has finished. Let me see if I can create my cluster. Let me see here. Okay, I will just type this Sunday cluster Okay, I'll keep it region. No. Regional, no, zonal. Zonal is fine. It's zonal. And let me create down here, create. Okay, I'm creating my zonal cluster. Okay, it's going to take a few minutes to create it. So while it's doing that, so like you said yesterday, let me zoom in case you guys cannot see this. Zoom in. Okay, so this is a simple example of a Kubernetes deployment. So by the way, let's actually go to Visual Studio Code. Let's go to VSC. So in VSC, there is something that I want you guys to download. Let me close this one. In fact, what I'll do is create a new window. In VSC, there's something I want you guys to download. Let me zoom in. Okay. I want you guys to, let me go to extensions. There is an extension I want you guys to add. Let me show you guys the name of the extension here. Of course, you have to add the Kubernetes extension. So add this one, the Kubernetes extension in your Visual Studio Code, and also add the Kubernetes support extension in your Visual Studio Code. Add those two. They will help you to type some code. You can see, let's actually go and let me go and show you guys something. So let's say I want to create a new file. So I say new text file, click on select language, I write here Kubernetes, sorry, YAML. I say YAML file, because you know Kubernetes documents or manifests are written in YAML language. I said that yesterday. I'm reminding us today. Kubernetes manifests are written in YAML language. So let me say right here deployment. You see here, for example, showing me Kubernetes deployment, all of this. If I just click on Kubernetes deployment, it creates a sample already for me there. Now I can say, okay, now I want to call this my app. I can leave it my app. Then come down here, I say, okay, I want it to be Nginx. Okay. And then I leave that container port. I want to expose port 80, for example. Okay. I finish there. Let's say I come down here, and to separate two blocks of code in Kubernetes, you use a tree bar. So 1, 2, 3. I've separated the code. And here down here, come and write, for example, load balancer. If I let me say services, you can see this Kubernetes service down here. I select it. It has created for me. I can just come down here, service, I come down and say type, going to be load balancer. And I write here, for example, port 80, and down here port 80. Okay. Now, if you look at it, this is exactly the same like yesterday. This is my service. This is my deployment. But now the advantage is I don't type everything. I just type some few things, and then the plugin or the extension I added to my Visual Studio Code just completed it for me. So let me show you again. So let me go back to extensions. So like I said, add this Kubernetes support and add this Kubernetes. Those are 2 extensions I want everybody to add. It helps you to just type the code. Okay. So you see, these are 2 things I've written in less than some few minutes. It didn't take me an hour. I didn't need to figure it out. I just wrote deployment. It appeared there. If I come down here and I say, I separate my code again, 3 dash, and I come here and say Kubernetes pod. This down here, you see, I click there, it has created a thing for the pod. Very nice. Or if you are not sure, just write here pod. It shows you already. You can see this Kubernetes pod, Kubernetes horizontal support scaler. Let me just say Kubernetes pod. It creates it for me. Okay. So let's go back and continue. I'll minimize this. This is the code here. So in this code, yesterday we copied the whole thing. Today I'll change it. Before I continue, are we clear on what I'm doing? Are we together? Are we lost? Are we found? Are we okay? Are we?
We're okay.
Okay.
Good.
Perfect. All right. So I'm in my cluster here. I click on the cluster.
I have a question.
Okay. Okay. Admin, is that Mr. Okay?
Yeah, just joined.
Okay. I've been asking around. I've been.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was in another meeting. I had to stop that one.
Okay. All right. So go ahead with your question, sir.
No, I saw from the script that, yesterday you said on the note. It said if you have a deployment already includes a pod, something like that. That the pod, the replica, the pod is in a replica, the replica is in deployment. Exactly. Okay, now that I don't know, is it deploy? I don't know what to do now. I have seen a pod, so why should there be another pod when there's a deployment already?
Where did you see that?
I saw a pod. Wait. This deployment, come down again. I saw a pod somewhere here.
Are you talking about here? Let me show. Okay, I type pod here and then I click there. Are you meaning this?
Yeah. I think I saw something like that. That's correct. Yeah.
Oh no, I'll just show you an example. I'm not using it. It's just like to show you guys how to. So like I'm showing you here, you don't have to type everything. You just add the extension, and when you just come in and you type pod. Now you should not type pod because, like I said, you should create the deployment because the deployment contains the replica set, which contains the pod. So don't just create.
Okay. I just joined. I'm sorry.
Yes, this is just like an example here. But we're not going to use this code here because we already have our code that we put in our GitHub yesterday. We'll use this. There, I'll just show you in your computer what you can do. If you don't want to go to Google and start researching for code, you want to write it yourself. Okay, so what you do is you go to your Visual Studio Code, you go to extensions, you add the Kubernetes extension and the Kubernetes support extension. Once you have those two, when you go to your file, you want to write, let me say this time I want to write replica set. If I just write replica, now you can see it writes Kubernetes replication controller. Remember I told you guys yesterday that the replica set is replacing the replication controller. So this is the same thing. I'll just click there. It appears like this. What I'll do is I'll change this from replication controller to replica set. And that is it. I can change the number of replica set to be 5, for example. And then down is having this underlining. When you see something like this underline, just go and stand on it. It gives the error. It says one or more containers do not have resource limits. Okay, so what you do is you can just copy this resource limit up here and then add it. Now it's behind. Yeah, perfect. Okay, that's fine. Simple example. Are we together so far? Are we on the same page? Mr.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, I'm together.
Yes, sir.
Right. I'm also, Mr. Okay, you asked the question, does it make sense? Are we good?
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right. So just so we are clear, I'm not saying you cannot create the pod, but if you do, you are in charge of making sure it restarts if it fails. I'm not saying you cannot. You can. We did that already yesterday. You can. But in case it fails, you have to restart it. You can also create a replica set. But in that one, like I said, you cannot do a deployment with it. So rather create a deployment. That's why when you go to the office, you see, if you see a colleague using Kubernetes, or if they ask you to do Kubernetes, they'll give you more like YAML files, and they will say, okay, do this deployment or add this service. They'll really say add this pod, because if you add a pod, then it means you are in charge of making sure that pod scales up or scales down or refresh or restart or whatever. That's the issue there. So I hope we are clear. I'm not saying you cannot, you can, but then you have extra work to do. So what I will do is I'll just copy this first part here. Yesterday I copied the whole thing, today I'll copy just the first part. So I'll copy this, copy it. You guys, if you want, you can just come to this my account and fork this repository if you want. If you don't want to, you can just come and, of course, all of us know how to fork the repository. Just come and fork this one and use it as well if you want, or you can get yours. Doesn't matter. So I want to use this. Copy this code. Okay, go here, and I want to connect to my cluster. So I click on connect, running Cloud Shell. Okay. Now, can you run this from your computer? Definitely, yes, you can. you can use your git bash and run this command, this gcloud, this command here. This gcloud command, you can copy it and then run it in your computer, in your shell, in your git bash, or in your Visual Studio Code down here. Let me go to terminal. Down here, you can do the same thing. In any place, every terminal, you can run it. The issue is, then you need to install Google Cloud in your computer to enable your computer to communicate with Google Cloud and then connect to your cluster. And I don't want to do that right now. I just want to just go and just use the cloud itself. So I just use it here. But you can use your computer again. It's just a terminal, so you can do it. So authorize cloud shell, I say authorize. You can see fetching cluster of data, kubeconfig entry generated for Sunday cluster. So now we are connected to Sunday cluster. So how do I check we are connected? First of all, I tell my kubectl get node, for example. When I do that, I can see I have my 3 nodes. Okay, again, let me check my account. I go here, open the compute engine in VM instances. Then go and check VM instances. I should see my 3 nodes here running. Okay, there they are. So 3 nodes running right now. And these are all under my cluster I created. All right, and these are them here. Good. So let's say I want to do my deployment. So I'll create a file here. So this one, I'll call it deployment.yaml, for example. Okay, I didn't delete it from yesterday. Oh, that's fine. So what I'll do is I'll just, let me go down here, delete this one. Delete all of this. You know what? Take me too much time. Delete it this way. I want to keep just the deployment to this file. Okay, good. So I'm good here. So if I open this file now, you see there's only a deployment here, right? Nothing else, just a deployment. Okay, so we are good. So how do I create my deployment? kubectl create file. What's the name of the file? Deployment.yaml. Okay, when I do that, it creates my deployment, and the deployment is called what? Nginx. So now if I do kubectl get deployment, you can see the deployment is an Nginx deployment. It has 3 pods. 3 out of 3 is up and running. 3 of them are there, 3 available, and it is created 10 seconds ago. Okay, if I do kubectl get replica set, now again, it is normally typed replica set. I can do it like that, but it's very long. So I can just type kubectl get rs, same thing. So you can type replica set or you can type rs, they're both the same thing. Also for deployment, I can type kubectl get deploy. I don't have to type deployment, just deploy. It's fine, same thing. Let me increase it again a bit. Okay, so what else? I want to check the ports. kubectl get port. You can see that's it. Okay, now let's try something. I'll delete the port, and you guys can see the self-healing ability. So what will happen? Let me explain again a little bit here what will happen, so you can remember. Okay, so we have the master is here. The master has the etcd, it has the kube scheduler, it has the API, and what else again? What's the last thing it has? Who can remind us? The etcd, the kube scheduler, the API, and controller manager. Good job.
Control manager.
Good. All right. And then here we have our 3 nodes. And these nodes, of course, they have ports in them. I don't want to start drawing ports. That's fine. It doesn't matter. So it is connected, of course, using the API, the kube API. This is the guy that connects them all together. So if I come here and I kill this pod here, right now there are 3 pods, and I told the deployment I want to have 3 pods. So the deployment knows there's supposed to be 3. So this information here has been added inside of our etcd. He knows, because remember, it's the memory, it's the brain. He knows that, okay, we are supposed to have 3 there because the master node has said he wants to have 3. So he must have 3 there at every second. So when I go and I delete one pod there, the kubelet, remember the kubelet is the reporter, is the boss, is the captain in that ship. The kubelet will tell through the API, you pass through the API. Remember, there's the API that allows for them to connect. API, Kube API, let me write on all of those things. API. Through the API, the kubelet would tell the controller manager, please, controller, you are the one in charge. Something has happened. One has gone down. Oh, one has gone down, but we're supposed to have how many? The controller manager, let me take a different color to make it very clear. The controller manager will go and check with the each city. Each city, how many do we have? We're supposed to have 3. Hey, there's something is wrong. Each city will tell the kube scheduler, hey, my man, we need to have 3. Please go and schedule another pod. So schedule the kube scheduler now through the API again will tell Mr. Kubelet, replace it. And you see he's going to recreate another one. So kubelet tells controller manager. Controller manager checks with each city. And then he tells kube scheduler, and then kube scheduler who schedules the pods, of course, he schedules, tells kubelet, you're the captain there. Make sure another pod is replaced and replaces it. I hope that makes sense. Mr. Okay, anybody? Are we okay? Are we clear?
We're clear. It makes sense, sir.
One more time.
One more time. All right. Let me take different. Let me actually. Let me undo some colors. Let me just leave it like this. Okay. Good. Let me know. Let me go in with that. No, it's okay. That's right. Let me just go back to the color here. API. Okay. So we have. Let me remove this one. So this is how it's supposed to look like. So we have our master. This is a master node, and these are all worker node. This is worker node 1, worker node 2, worker node 3. And this node contain pod in all of them. They all have pods. And those pods contain, what do the pods contain? What do the pods contain?
Contain the
Containers.
Containers. Thank you very much. I have to ask, so I'm sure we are on the same page. All right. So now, when I come down here and mistakenly or intentionally, I come and I delete, what's happening here? I come down here and I delete a pod. Let's say I delete the pod and the pod is located inside here. I delete this pod here. I delete one. Now, when I wrote that document, when I wrote that deployment YAML, I told Kubernetes master and I told Kubernetes deployment that I want to have 3 pods. So right now, the etcd knows that there must be 3 out of 3, always on. There must always be 3 pods, always. Now, when I delete one by mistake, it's going to go down to 2 out of 3. And once that happens, the kubelet, through the API, will alert the controller manager. So it's going to go like this. It's going to go like this and then like this. He alerts the controller manager. Controller, you're the one in charge here. Something is wrong here. 1 has gone down. Now it is 2 of 3. 2 of 3, but I think we're supposed to have more than that, right? The controller manager goes and checks with the etcd. And the etcd, remember, is the memory. The memory remembers that we're supposed to have 3 out of 3. So he knows that 1 must be added again. There must be a +1. So now the etcd, of course, he has to go and tell the one who plans. He tells the kube scheduler, Mr. Kube scheduler, we have to schedule a pod. And now the kube scheduler now through the API can tell again our kubelet to recreate the pod. So Mr. Kubelet, do a +1 pod there. and so it will be done. Now, it will not happen in 2 seconds. It will happen in like less than a second. The moment I delete, you'll be recreating automatically because it's like so fast. It doesn't like take a minute. It's like you will not even see when it happens. But the moment I delete, you see something being recreated at the same time. Is it making sense now? Miss Karen, you asked for this.
Yes, Prof. Understood.
All right. So let me clear my screen and I will delete it. So let's say I'll delete this particular pod. I copy the name. I say kubectl delete pod. So you see how the commands are. kubectl do this on this. I can say kubectl delete deployment, kubectl delete replica set, kubectl delete this. That's how the commands are. So kubectl delete pod, then I give the pod name. Okay, and I press enter. Now you see this pod has been deleted. Now if I go and I do again kubectl get pod, see how it is already recreated. It is still there. Look at something though. If you notice very well, this is 5 seconds old. So this has just been recreated. But these ones have been there. They are 8 minutes old. Are we seeing it?
Yes.
So the moment I deleted this pod, look at the ID of this pod, it is 7848. And it ends with what? X4H7N. It is no more here. So the moment I deleted it, it was recreated in less than a second. Let me do it again. This time I'll delete this one here. I copy the name. I come down here. Let me do it again. kubectl get pod. Okay, just like them there. Now say kubectl delete pod. Let me put the pod name. Enter. Now I do get pod. It has already been recreated in 2 seconds. Like it doesn't even take a second for it to be recreated. That is why you don't create the pod directly, because if it was a pod that I created, then I'll be the one to recreate it. But since I put it under deployment, which has auto healing, and because of the process I told you, is going to recreate the pod anytime. That's what they call the self-healing ability of Kubernetes. Are we okay?
Yes, we're okay, sir.
Okay, let's continue. So now we did the kubectl get command yesterday. Let's go to another level now. We did a create. Now let's add the service. So I go back. I copy this code down here for the service. I copy it. So notice something. Just like Terraform, you can put all the code in one document, or you can put them in different documents, just like Terraform. You can do that. Just like Terraform. Okay, let me do something. So I copy this. I come back to my cluster. I create a file. I'll call this service.yaml. Okay, and I paste it there. Okay, I've not changed anything. I've just copied and pasted. I think we all remember we went through this thing line by line yesterday. So we have the API version. We have the kind, which is service. We have the metadata, which is just like I said. Metadata just means naming or tagging the resource. You have the namespace, you have the label, which is going to match it with what we have created. The label matches it. We're exposing it to the outside world using the label. The label connects with the selector that we put in our deployment on our pods. I hope you remember that we spoke about yesterday. I hope you remember that. Please don't forget that. Okay. And then, of course, you see the external traffic policy is local. I want it to be local. The ports, I want to export port 80. The protocol is TCP, target port is 80, and the name is Nginx, and the type is load balancer. Again, we spoke yesterday of load balancer and node port. We spoke about both of them yesterday. I hope you remember that. Okay, so I finish here. Escape colon wcure. I'm done. Now I'll go ahead and I'll do kubectl create -f service.yaml. So now you create a service. Now how do I check the service? kubectl get SVC. I can do SVC, I can do get service. It shows me that right now I have 2 services. This one was created when you have Kubernetes already, it comes with this one. I did not create this one, it is there by default. It's already there. What I created is this one right now. I can see it is still pending the external IP. I'll do it again. Get service, still pending. Now it has created the external IP. So now you see there's an external IP, and this is the cluster IP. Now we are seeing all of this here. This is all in the terminal. Can we see this same thing on our account itself? Of course we can. Let's do that. So I'll bring this down. I'll drag it down. I'm dragging it down. Now you can see our cluster here. What I'll do is I will go and click on this service and ingress. In this service and ingress, I'm supposed to see our load balancer that we have just created. The load balancer is called what? It is called Nginx. Okay, let's go and check it out. So I come down here, click on service and ingress. You can see we have it here, Nginx for Sunday cluster. We just created it right now. If I go to workload, in the workload, you're supposed to see the ports. On workload, you see there's a deployment here. You can see, if I click on it, you can see there's the port right now. These are different readings, the CPU, the memory, and the disk. And of course, these are connected to what? What is this connected to? Anybody have any idea? Where is this hosted? These ports, where are they running?
Where are the ports running?
Yes. What is hosting them? Is it in my computer? Where is it running?
The cluster?
In the cluster, that is where?
Google
the
Cloud.
cloud.
The cloud.
Cloud. Good. And they're running inside of
Your node.
Node. I'm looking for Node. Okay, look at this now. This is our Nginx deployment. These are 3 ports down here. And this is our load balancer down here. We are seeing this all here as well. So when we are going to use, I told you guys yesterday to download Minikube. Have we all downloaded Minikube? Have we or have we not?
Not yet.
Not yet, sir. I'm still trying to clear up storage on my computer.
I tried
Not yet.
downloading it, but
Okay.
well, I didn't get it right.
You didn't get what right, sir?
So I tried downloading it 2 days ago. I didn't get it right.
Does anybody have any issue downloading it? There shouldn't be an issue though, but if you have any issue, please get to me. You need to have it. Okay, so it means we'll not use it today. If you guys don't have it yet. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. So, all right, so you can see I'm doing everything here. The point I'm trying to make is that Kubernetes has, what are the 2 ways you can do to access the Kubernetes? What are the 2 ways?
You can do it.
kubectl or UI?
Good. Good job. My question was, what are the 2 ways you can do to access the Kubernetes cluster? And like someone has mentioned, this Ms. Karin, the kubectl commands or the UI. I was trying to show you guys that also on the UI I can check things. I can also deploy an app here. Let me show you. If I go back to the cluster here, I can click here on create to create a new cluster, or I can click on the app, and here I can add a node pool. I can deploy a new app, all here by itself. You can see I can select a new container image. I can connect it to my GitHub, put the repository link here, and go from there. You can do that. But it's always advised to know how to do this thing on the CLI, always. Because there are going to be limits to what you can do on the UI. There are many limits to what you can do. But when you do everything down here in the controller, in the command line, everything is there. Okay, so we have added the service. Let me show us again. kubectl get service. Consider this it there. So what I'll do is I'll copy this IP address. I'll copy it. I'll copy it, go to my browser, paste the IP address there, press enter, and you can see. You guys won't see. Let me check this up here. Why is it black? I don't want it to be black. supposed to be white. Why is it black? Well, the point is, you can see my Nginx webpage. So this right now, who can tell me where this is running? This.
On the cloud.
Yeah, I mean, on what?
Node. On the node.
Is it on the node?
Oh, and the cluster that's being ran on Google Cloud.
So this Nginx image is a container right now. This is a container running in a pod. I wanted the answer was pod. And that pod, of course, is in the node, and the node is in the cluster. Yes, but the point is the pod. I will deploy it right now. But we are accessing it through the load balancer. So what's happening now is what? What's happening now is we are in the internet and the cloud. We have a load balancer here. And we have our nodes, 1, 2, 3 node. And this node, we have our pod. We have our pod here, and pod here. Now we created the load balancer right now with our command kubectl create-f service.yaml, which contains the code to create the load balancer. And by doing that now, we have allowed access so that somebody in the internet, like me or like you, if I give you this IP now, you type it in your browser, you should see this same Nginx page, the same thing. By the way, let's do that. So what I'll do is I'll copy this link and send in the chat. Please, someone try to access it. Let me send it in the Zoom chat. Please, someone try to open it in your browser. You should be able to see the same welcome to Nginx page.
Yes, I saw it.
Are you seeing it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you see that is what happens. But now the thing is, I've made this a public access, so I can send it to China right now and they'll be able to see my application. Even though it's just an empty web page, but you can see it. Same thing happens to WhatsApp. So they put WhatsApp, they open a window, they open a pod. So right now, when we use our WhatsApp, what happens is the WhatsApp connects to a pod on the WhatsApp application. We're not accessing the whole WhatsApp, we're accessing it through a pod. It's like a window. Remember, a pod is like a window. Through the window, we can enter into the WhatsApp app and we have WhatsApp. But the rest of the order is like, it's like your house. Your house is not just totally open. There's a window that you can use for water or for air to get into your house, for aeration or ventilation, as the case may be. But the point is, through the pod, we are accessing it. Good job. Let me go back and I will do something now. I will clear everything and show you guys something else. Go back here. Right now, I want to delete everything. So I'll do kubectl. So how do I do to delete everything? I can go and delete the deployment and then the service and all of that. But I'll show you guys a better way. If I do the ls command, I have my deployment.yaml and I have my service.yaml. These two files contain the code which I used to create those things out there. And Kubernetes knows that those are the files that contain those things. So when I do the command kubectl delete -f dot, I'm telling Kubernetes, check the files where I'm located. Remember, dot means where I am. Check the files where I am. Anything in these files that was used to create anything I have right now, delete them. So Kubernetes will check and he will see the deployment, he will delete it. He will check and see the load balancer and he will delete it. So I'll press enter. So you see he has deleted the deployment called apps and the service called Nginx. If I go up here now and I go to service, he's going to, you are seeing now there's 0 ports. He has deleted it. If I go now to the browser again and refresh, it will not ever work again because now I've deleted the load balancer, deleted the port, deleted the replica set, everything is deleted. Now, if you try over there again, you should not see it working anymore, Miss Jenny. It's not working anymore, right?
No, sir.
Perfect, good. So I did that just with kubectl delete-f and then dot. I'll redo the same thing now. kubectl create-f dot. I mean, by doing this, anything you see in this location, any YAML file, Kubernetes create it. I press enter. He will create the deployment for me and the service for me. If I do again kubectl, so by the way, let's look at the new command right now. A good command to see everything. Kubectl get all. Kubectl get all. He shows me everything. He shows me the pod. He shows me the service. Shows me the deployment, and shows me the replica set. Everything. So now, if I copy, I'll wait for this external IP to open up. I'm waiting for the external IP, so you can see it again in the browser. It's still pending. Okay, there it is. I copy this now, and I check it again. I will close this one and create a new window and paste it. Let's wait for it to finish deploying. I think it's still deploying our application here. Okay, but so far, are we clear? Are we okay? Can we continue?
Yes, yes, we can continue, sir.
Okay. For my mouse is not working right now. What's happening? Okay, it's up. So you can see you are back on the page is back now. So if I send this again to Miss Jenny, it's going to work, but no point. We have gotten the point already. So now let me explain. Let me show you guys again something like I mentioned yesterday. I'll do the command kubectl describe. We're looking at commands as well. So we're learning commands, applying, studying, and learning. So I'll do the command kubectl describe. Let me just do kubectl get service first of all. Okay. I'll say kubectl. I want you to describe the service called Nginx. When I do that, he shows me something. He shows me that the selector is what? App Nginx. Okay, now let me go and show you guys something. kubectl, or if I don't need to show you this way, let me just go back to this file and show you. So you see that right now, this is a service here. The label is what? App Nginx. That is it. So this App Nginx here in the service, it is the thing that Kubernetes uses to know what service to link to what deployment. So since I have App Nginx here, if I go up here and I show you, you're going to see that here we have the selector, and it is what? App Nginx. So it knows that it has to use this service to link to this deployment. If I change this spelling by one word, they're not going to reconnect. Is it making sense? Are you guys getting the point I'm trying to make here?
Can you repeat that one more time, sir?
Sure. All right. So let me put it this way. When we create a load balancer, we give it a label. Label. When we create a deployment, we give it a selector. Okay, we give the selector. And so the selector is what, and let me put the middle here, Kubernetes. Kubernetes knows that the label is what associates a load balancer to a selector. So if this label is called A, B, then this selector must also be called A, B. If I call this label A, B, and I call this selector A, B, C, then this cannot connect because they are different names. It must be A, B, and A, B. Like in this case here, look at something. The deployment is what? For the selector, it is App Nginx. And also for the service, the label is what? App Nginx. It is the same exact tag. If I change the spelling by one word, it's not going to reconnect. It's not going to recognize each other. Are you getting the point now, Mr. Kida? Does it make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
All right. So let's continue. But before we continue, let me look at what time we have here. We have, okay. So right now, I think I told you guys, but there's this one of, there's this lady I helped to get a job. I told you guys I'm going to invite people I helped to get a job to come and to give us like their experience. It's true she's more French speaking, and some of us may know her. But I've told her to come today. She was supposed to come yesterday, but something happened. She forgot or something. So I told her she can come today. So she'll be joining us any moment now. So we'll not take our break right now. Wait for her to come and then give a little testimony, give her experience, and see basically how she did it. And then from there, we'll continue. So I'm sent her the Zoom link. I'm waiting for her to join. While waiting for her, let's continue. So now we have our kubectl get, kubectl describe, kubectl delete. Now, let's look at kubectl deploy. Okay, kubectl. If I just do kubectl like this, by now you should not. If you type just kubectl like that, any command just by itself, it gives you different things you can use with it. Of course, right now we know already kubectl exec. Let's use it today. So let's go back to my slide here and look at the command. kubectl. Let me scroll up. Not describe, that's not the command I'm looking for. I'm looking for kubectl, not get port. Let me see. kubectl, no, not that one either. Okay, good. That's what I'm looking for. She was supposed to join by now. Why is she not here yet? Let's wait. She should be joining in a moment now. Okay. So let's just describe our pod. Let's get into it. So kubectl, just like Docker, exec -it. Let me just first of all do kubectl get port. kubectl get port. Okay. kubectl exec -it. I put the port name. Let me say I use this port name. Copy that. And I paste it here. And then I put bin bash. Okay, you can see right now I am inside of the pod itself. That's me inside it. That's the pod ID. Look at the same thing like here. So right now I'm inside the pod. I'm in the pod itself. So we have just met right now with my colleague, Miss Annie. Some of us actually may know her already, showed already. You can hear a testimony. The one thing that you notice there must have been that she mentioned something very important. It's not about how much you know. Really, it's really God's grace, and it's just God. God really helped her to get that. And that'll be the same thing for you. You don't have to know everything. It's good to know some, not everything. And of course, you guys remember, like we said already at the start of the class, it is never about now. It's not about the money. Let your decision making not be based on money. And like you said, it's true. If possible, can argue about the 150 and all, because the point is, you and I know that at the end of the point is, before getting into the company, you and I know you don't really have the 3 years experience. You don't really have it. You have knowledge, but you don't have the 3 years experience, really. You just have knowledge that equates 3 years experience, but you don't really have the 3 years experience. So starting up, if you get, I don't know, my first job was 95. I think I told you guys with 95. It's after I got a second job, and then even I let that job go. I think it was 120. Yeah, but I let it go that. Okay, so right. So by the way, it's different in Canada. It is kind of like they pay less in Canada than they pay in the US. That is one thing for sure. It's difficult in Canada yet to have 180. In fact, it's difficult. In USA, it's very possible. In Canada, I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. So you guys, you can actually go for something 100 and something. But like we said at the start, let money never be a motivation. First of all, your first decision, your first plan is to put your foot in the door. When you're in the door, that's all. Now you can now maneuver around. I hope we're together on that.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm saying that because I know, Ms. Jenny, I know I think you mentioned already, it is 96 is more than what I have. So it is good for a start. That's fine. I mean, you're already above what you are at. Okay, that's the first thing. Now, when you're in, because remember, like she said, when you get in, don't try to get 6 jobs. No, get 1. Get in, understand the system, master the system, know the thing well. You know your schedule. You know at this time I have a stand-up. At this time I have to look down. You can go for a second if you are at ease. Because one thing to is Guys, we're human beings. Okay, yes, right. Even in Europe, we cannot have 6 figure, you see. So USA is really the when let me not get into politics right now. Let me just continue. What was I going to? I was trying to say that the point is to get in. When you get in, all right. So I wanted to say getting 2 jobs is great, guys. But one thing I wanted to say, don't ever let money distract you from the real goal in life, which is serving God. I got 2, 3 jobs, but I had the money. There was a lot of money, but you don't have time to read your Bible. You don't have time to pray. You don't have time to do this. You have focus. You have to do this ticket, then that ticket, then this ticket. This job says this one. The other job says this one. The other job. So you have to finish the job, finish the project here, and you have to come to this meeting. You come, you lie that no, I was sick, but you were not sick. You were attending the other stand up. You have to lie here and lie there because you have to have 2 jobs and have money. So you are sinning to get more money, which is to some people it's okay, of course, but it's not okay. So always never let your reaching out for more money taint your relationship with God. Never, never. God number 1. Everything else comes after God. Okay, so let's continue.
Oh, please, I wanted to add something. Can I?
Sure, please. Let me increase the volume.
So also about the experience.
Yeah.
From my understanding, don't put something you cannot defend. Don't go and put 5 years because they're going to expect you to do a job for somebody who has 5 years.
5 years, yes.
And you yourself, you know that you don't even have 1 year experience. So don't put yourself in that position. This is how I'm thinking.
Yes.
Don't just look at the money and be like, okay, I'll put 5 years, 6 years, so they'll give me 200. So when they give you 200, they'll give you the job that
goes that 200.
200.
Yes.
They will not train you because they know that you have 5 year experience. So they will not even train you. They will expect you to be like a manager or whatever. And you know yourself that I don't even know the job. My thing was to get my foot in
the door.
That's the thing, my sister. Hey.
That's it.
As I told you here, I was even ready to take 70, 80 because I just want to get in, see the work environment, how it goes. From there, we can just decide anything.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Good reminder.
Thank you.
Good reminder. Yeah. Just getting your foot in the door. So by the way, like she mentioned, so we are going to have a session. It will not be in the weekend. I think I'll just make it during the week because weekend we have to finish this Kubernetes and do a full pipeline. So I'm thinking this week coming up, because like I told you guys, now you are ready. Now you should be ready if you have been revising. If you have not, like she said, she took 3 months after the end. So it's up to you. You can also take the 3 months. We're going to have a session. We're going to go on LinkedIn. Everybody, for those who can join the class, go on LinkedIn, create an account, create our accounts, put our resumes there. We're going to write our resumes, put it on LinkedIn, open it for recruiters to come. Now, like I said, you don't have to go for it. You don't have to, but it's good. Like she said, you get your hands dirty, you get used to the kind of questions, yes, okay, what is DevOps? Okay, you read, what is CI/CD? Okay, what is this? Okay, what is that? And Mr. Kida did a good job. He's already putting questions we have on the website. I've put the link there on the website right now. I'm going to upload a bunch of interview questions there. You guys can decide, like I told you guys, please, like she said, I like what she said. She said, always try to reach out, work together. You see how she mentioned what I've been mentioning. Yes, Mr. Kida, go ahead, sir. We have 5 more minutes. Mr. Kida.
Okay. I just wanted to ask if yesterday, did you get the updated? Like, were you able to get in and successfully get it?
Did you get my, I think I said, did you accept the permission I requested, Rob?
Oh.
I sent you permission. I sent you a request to give you permission to do something. I don't know if you got in the email.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check my email. Thank you, sir.
That's all right. You're welcome, sir. So yeah, so please, like she said, if you guys are free, you can decide meet on Mondays and Wednesdays. I don't know, you guys, like I told you, I'm always available, but I will not always tell you what to do. You guys are all mature. You can say, okay, now, when it was me, like she told you guys, she didn't say me, I said to them, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, every week. I mean, we'll come, I'll be there for 3 hours. Literally every day was from 6 to 9, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. My life was like that. We'll come, we'll answer this, we'll look at that, look at that, look at that. I know we are busy, I know, but like she said, you have to pay a price for something you want to have, pay some price. If you go to the market, you cannot go and carry banana for free. You have to give a credit card, they tap and take small thing. Same thing. But like I said, it's up to you. Like, so you guys know you can bring a horse to a river, you cannot force the horse to drink water. So I'll put the interview questions there. I'll upload, I can tell you guys, I'll make an interview video of how you can answer and how to go about it. So you guys have an idea. Put interview questions. We're going to have sessions to answer interview together, have projects. But it all comes down to you taking all of these resources and utilizing them to get that job. All right, so let's continue. We're in Kubernetes right now. I should mention something. You guys are seeing how important and powerful it is. Now, I got the three jobs I've got without Kubernetes. So it means with or without you can get a job. But when you have it, it makes a difference. So we all, unless you guys are, when you're going to write a resume, I'm going to ask all of us to put Kubernetes, unless you're not, if you are not at ease talking about it in the interview, then don't. But if you can, I'll advise all of us, when we're going to do it, I'm going to ask all of us to put Kubernetes there. We're going to revise it again, look at some questions, answer it together, and then you'll be able to answer in the interview. Because when you get that 150 or that 120, or even if it's that 90, because of Kubernetes, answering some few questions, you'll be happy. You'll be happy you did. So, as she mentioned again, certifications are great. You don't have to have them. If you have them, fine. I don't. And I got 3 jobs. So, it's good. Not must, but it's good. When you're in a job, you can go for a certification. When you're already in a job, fine. But before then, don't worry about it. Understand first. Understanding is the key. Okay, time's up. Time's up. Okay, let's continue. So we're talking about Kubernetes, and we are right now, you guys can see my terminal. So if I go to my VM instances, of course, you can see the 3 clusters are still up, and the 3 nodes are still up and running. So I was logged into my pod. So where the command is, where's the command here? Okay, no worries. So I'll do my kubectl get pod, authorize the shell. Okay, these are my 3 pods. So kubectl exec -it. I copy the port name. Remember, copy the port name. Okay, I paste that port name, and at the end I put --, then I put bin bash. When I do this, I get into the pod. Now I am in the pod. Okay, you can see this. Who can tell me what is this? What is that? Miss Karin, who can tell us? Miss Jenny, Mr. Kida?
/ is the root.
Good, roots. Perfect. So you are seeing our Linux we started with. Very important. And she also mentioned it. All right. So let's do some commands. If I do ls command, you can see what is in the container right there. If I do ls-l, normal commands work. If I do cat etc *release, this right now I am in the pod. So you are seeing that this Kubernetes pod is running a container, and that container is running an operating system which is based on Debian Linux. Okay. What other command can I do? If I do the free-m command, it's not working. Now, who can tell me why the free command is not working? Who can guess?
Yes, that again one more time, sir.
Why is the free command not working?
This is a container.
Yes, so?
Yes.
Does not have a memory.
If container there are some commands don't run in a container. We rather if it had the what do you call it now? How do I explain this? It's running. It's a lightweight. Let me just put it that way.
Good job. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I like that. It's lightweight, so it doesn't have all the. It has just the dependencies. That's what you're looking for. It has just the dependencies required for the container to run. It doesn't have everything. So it does have all the commands. It has the ls command. It has the cat command. It has, of course, cat command is this. Let me say cat let me say cat this dev docker, no, this docker entry point.sh, for example. It has the cat command. It has normal commands, ls, cat cd.
ls block. Does it have
Okay,
it?
ls block. It has it. That's a very basic command. You should have it. All the ls command, ls cpu is seeing it. It's things like the free command. If you cannot run a docker, so docker, any big command, it doesn't have any kind of use special command, it doesn't have. But make t, ls, cd, touch, it has it. All right, so let me exit this container right now. Let me exit this pod. So I've exited the pod. If I do again my kubectl get pod, we are there. All right, so now we have now somewhat of a good grasp of how Kubernetes is. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go and confirm. Now, a question, the videos I put on the Jenkins file, I did 2 videos. I already done a 3rd video, building and deploying to our Docker Hub. I've put it up.
I looked at that video. It's not very clear.
It's not clear?
No, it's not. I like it from YouTube or something like that.
Let's look at it.
It's not on my screen. It's not.
Oh.
It's
That, so let's check it out, Apotians. You see how Google Originals also. Yeah, if somebody goes and taps Apotians, then he'll catch us.
I mean, the image is not sharp. That's what I mean.
Okay, yes, let's go and check it. I thought that I put a good. It's try put it. Wait, what's happening here? Let me see here. What password did I put on this my account?
So you need to have a book there, right? Or your command, your password.
I have too many accounts. I really have to do that. That is so true. But that's all right. That's fine. Let me use this one. Let me save my time save some time here. Good. Voila. Apotians. You know, the thing is with this, the IT world is good, but when you have so many accounts and you don't have to have the same password, they will say you have password here, then password there, then this, then that. So okay, so I'm in now. Let me go to others and then go to and go to January 2022. Okay, and then go down 3 pages, go to page 2, page 3. Okay, so we are here. Okay, is it, did I put it here? No, it's not here. It's Kubernetes week, this one. Okay, let me go there, go to materials. No, it's not here either. Oh, no. What week did I put it in? I think I put it in Kubernetes week. Is it in the study? Let me go down.
I think you put it in Terraform week 3, sir.
Then that's the wrong place. I was supposed to put it here. But it's fine though. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's cool. Materials, Miss Jenny interview.
Oh, no.
Is it here? It's not here, right?
No.
Oh, no.
It should be
Kubernetes? It's not in Kubernetes?
It's not there. That's the fun part. It's not here either. Mr. Okay, what did you see?
You sent it in the group or something like that. So I just clicked and opened it.
I thought I put it on the website though.
It is on the website because
Yeah,
I seen it on the website.
Yeah. Where did I put it? Did I put it in the wrong week? Probably put on the wrong week. I have to move it. Let me go to materials. Okay, yeah, it's here. It's on week 23. Yeah. So this for the Jenkins file, just GitHub. Is it the one you're talking about, Mr. Okay?
Yes.
Let me see. I click play there. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Okay, for this. Did you change the quality here?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So what you do is when you guys are here, so this video is appearing down here, you can close it here. Click on these settings. By quality, by default, it goes to the default quality. Click there, go to the highest quality if you want HD quality. Now it's very clear.
So it's like this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Can change the quality here to 480p. Here it's going to be very poor in quality. But of course, you have to change this to 720p. It's much clearer. Or me, I always go for the best if possible, 1080p, most clear.
Oh.
Is that okay, Mr. Okay?
Yes, it's okay too. I also had that problem.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, so
Yes.
welcome. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on that, but not exactly that. We're going to look at this from a different point of view. We're going to use, so like I said, I was about to put a video up of how to do the same thing, but to deploy to Docker Hub. Because remember, at the end of the day, we have to build a pipeline all the way to Docker Hub and then Kubernetes. We have done that by clicking. Now I have to do that by the Jenkins file. That is why I want us to understand the concept of Jenkins file. That is why. Okay, now let me go back to my Jenkins. Let me open my Jenkins. Oh shoot. I have to change project again. Go back to this project. Okay, on this project, I'm going to initiate the server, start the server. If possible, it's good to try to when you are finished using the server, stop it, if possible. Because sometimes what happens is when you leave the server up and running, I don't know what happens, but they send you a request saying that whether the server is doing something like you are trying to hack their server or something. They've sent me that message twice already. So if possible, it's good to shut it down. Let me connect to my Jenkins. Okay, it is still loading. The server is still loading. Come on. Okay, Jenkins starting now. All right, so let's connect to Jenkins. And also, you notice you spoke about the importance of knowing Jenkins and at least infrastructure as a code tool. So please, if possible, if you haven't done some assignments, like I said, the assignment is just do what I do in class. Don't try to just understand that process, then you're good to go. All right. Okay, sign in. What are you spinning about? Okay, we are in. All right, don't check any password. All right, so new item. Let me go to just let me call this Maven 001 app, for example, pipeline. Okay, now if you you guys may not have watched the whole video, so I'm going to imagine that you have not watched the video. All right, so I'm going to start from the scratch. So we are on Jenkins build. How do we trigger Jenkins? Poll SCM. Good. Thank you for reminding. So yeah, I want to tell you to check every minute and every hour. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the cron that we learned in our Linux, we are still using it right now. Some little things in Linux, you should try not to forget it. All right, so here am I. I can pull the pipeline script from GitHub, or I can write it here. Let me not pull, let me write it. All right, so I'm going to use a simple sample. So I click here, click on GitHub Maven. All right. So when I click there, it shows me this pipeline script right here. You guys should be able to see my screen. Let me try to add something here so you guys can see very well. All right, red light. This is very clear. I think the red light helps you guys to follow my mouse. So this is, I don't type this, I just click and selected the sample pipeline. So nobody should say anything here. So let's start. The first one is pipeline. So we know that this is going to be a declarative. Is this declarative or scriptive?
It's declarative.
Declarative.
Good. All right. So the first tool we see is Maven. It's writing M3, but is that the name of my Maven? Let me go and check it. So I open my dashboard in a new tab, and I'll go to Manage Jenkins. And here I'll go to Global Tool Configuration. And when I'm here, I scroll down to Maven, and I see that my own is called M2_home. All right, so I can copy this name and go back here, and I'll change this M3 to M2_home. Okay, I'm good for that first step. Now, this second step, let me try to expand this. All right. So now we are finished with the tools pipeline. So here now we have our stages. The first stage is build. Let's take it that our first step is going to be GitHub checkout. So I'll write here Git checkout. Now it's just the name of a stage. You can type anything, but type a message that you know what you're talking about. I type this, and what I need to do from this point is I need to go and create a syntax for this. How do I create a syntax? Good thing you asked. I'll go to pipeline syntax. I did this in the video already, but I'm just doing this again here. Click on this pipeline syntax. And then what I'll do is this opens up for me. What I want to do is click here, go down to Git. They're asking me for the repository link. So I'll go to my repository here, And for this code, for this one, I'm going to use my repository called Hello Node. So I'm looking for Hello Node. Let me go to repository here. Hello Node. I think by now we have all fogged that repository to practice like I'm doing. So click on this, copy this link, go back to my Jenkins. Sorry, go back to this pipeline syntax and then paste it here. Now that's all I need to do. Now, second thing, the branch name. My branch name here, I notice it is called the main. This main. So I go back here and I'll change this to main. Now that's all I need to do. If I was using a private GitHub repository, I will need to add the credentials. But since it's not a private repository, it's public, so I don't need to do that. So I'm done there. Click on this generate pipeline script, copy this, and I'll go and I'll paste it here. Very, very simple. Paste it here. That's all. All right, so I did that in the first video. Let me not stop there. Let me just continue here. So this other information here, I want to clear all of this. I don't need this because I copy. I remember it's a sample script. I clear all of that. And one thing you have to very much notice here is the bracketing. So this bracket, when I start on this bracket, you say it is highlighting this bracket up here. When I stand there, it's highlighting that one. So I know that this bracket is close to that one. Okay. So the question is, what is the bracket that is closing this one? I want to know. When I come there and I clap, when I stand on this bracket here, it's highlighting this one here. So that's not it. When I stand on this bracket here, it's highlighting this one here. So that's not it. But when I stand on this bracket down here, it highlights this one up here. So that is it. So what I want to do is delete everything in the inside and stop here. Okay. Are we clear what I've done right now? Or let me do it again. Let me do it again.
Sure.
Let me do it again. When I stand on this bracket, it is highlighting this bracket. But what I want to do is I want to delete anything. I don't need this post here. So I want to remove everything I don't need. But I'm using this opportunity to explain you guys the bracketing system of the Jenkins file. It can cause a lot of issue. So what I want to do is I want to see what bracket is the one that is closing this bracket up here. So when I stand on this bracket here, I can see it's closing this one. When I stand here, I can see it's closing this one. When I stand down here, I can see it's closing this one. All right, so what I want to do is clear everything in the middle. So clear all of this right up to that point. So I know that this bracket is what is closing this one because I want to create a second stage. Remember, I want to create a second stage. Our first stage is Git checkout. Our second stage is going to be something else. So what do? I copy all of this stage, right click, copy. Let me actually clear this space. I don't need this space here. Okay, copy all of this stage here, right click, copy, and then standing there, I press enter and I paste. So I have my second stage. Let me bring this back. Okay. My second stage is going to be, let me say, Marvin. I want now to ask Marvin to build a WAR file for me. So right here, I can write anything, but I'll just write here, Marvin build. Okay. Now, I want to do a different thing here. So I'm going to delete this. I don't need this one. Now, I want to do some Maven commands. Maven is it's an application. And I run the Maven commands inside of what? Normally, who can remember the answer to this?
Java.
You run it in the air or where do you run it? Ms. Karim?
In the Java system.
Inside of something. Is it in the air or is it in the shell? It's in the shell, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I start with SH. Then I open my quotes, and in the middle of this, I can write my commands. Now, let me show you guys something, just in case I've forgotten. I hope that we have not been. Okay. Let me show you guys. Let me see if I can connect to it right now. Can I? So because of our visitor that came today, we may have to take some extra time. Hope that's okay. Are we together?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I want us, let's connect to this server. Okay, I'm connected to the server. Let me show you guys something. So in this server right now, I have Maven installed. So if I do mvn, this is the Maven command. That's supposed to run Maven. All right. So since I have Maven installed in my server, in my Jenkins server, what I'll do is, let me go back to my Jenkins here. I'll write here some Maven commands. So mvn. Now, if you remember, what were the 3 words we always use when we're creating our WAR file? 3 words. Those are 3 commands basically, but who can remember the 3 words? Clean what? Who remembers? Who has built a complete pipeline with Maven? Who has already done that? Has anybody built a complete pipeline with Maven? Who has built the WAR file?
Clean up package. Clean package.
Okay, thank you so much. Has anybody created a whole pipeline with Maven?
I tried, but I didn't finish.
You got stuck?
Yes.
Did you reach out for help?
I'll still have to do it again.
Okay. Clean install package. All right. So I finished there. I'll just stop there and I'll run this for us. Okay. Now I'll apply and then save. Build now. So in this case, I'm expecting him to just build the WAR file for me. He's just supposed to build the WAR file. So I can click on it, go, you can see it's building for me the WAR file. And he should finish. Good, he has finished. So by doing that, I created my WAR file. I'm good to go. So right, let's continue to the next step. The next step now is, I want him not only to build the WAR file, I want him to create a Docker image around it. So what do I need to do? I'll do the same thing again. Copy all of this. I copy the stage. Let me expand this. Copy the stage and then paste it down here. Okay. Now I'll call this stage, I can call it anything, but we'll just call it Docker build. Docker build. Down here, same thing. It is a shell command. So in the middle here, who remembers the command to build a Docker image?
Docker build.
Yes, sir. Docker build, yeah.
Docker build. T.
Dash T, okay. What next?
The name.
Okay. The image name. So my GitHub name and the name of the image. Let me call this image the same thing. So Marvin _ if I let me call it Marvin Sunday, it's better. Marvin Sunday. All right. Is that all?
The dot.
Exactly, dot. And what does the dot mean?
Right here.
Here.
Good. It means that the Docker file is located right here. Pick it up right here.
Right there.
Good job. So let's go and look at the Docker file in our repository. So if you go back, we have given the link of this Hello node. Let's go and look at the Hello node Docker file. So in the Hello node, I go to Docker file. This is it over here. This Docker file, we can see that we have the from, and we have the label maintainer. Okay, I've commented this out. Let me uncomment it. So it's going to use the Marvin WAR file I've created and then put in the Docker image. All right, so that's good. So here is going to create an image from Tomcat, label the maintainer as info Apotians, and then copy the WAR file we have created right now and copy it into the image. And also ask him to expose port 8080. This is the same Docker file I've had for all this time. I've not changed it here. So commit changes. We are good here. So now we know what the Docker file is supposed to do for us. So I'll go back to our code here. And what I'll do is Docker build -t apotry Maven Sunday. So you're supposed to create an image and call it Maven _ Sunday. Good. So I'm finished here. Apply, save, build now. So now it's going to create the WAR file and then enclose it in the Docker image. All right. Let's look at it. He's almost finished. Let's go. Let's just go and check it out. Console output. Okay, has finished. Success. So let's go and check this image right now. So I'll go back to my server. And in here, I'll do docker ps. Okay, let me become a root user first, sudo-i. Okay, so docker images, to go and check my images. And you can see here we have Marvin Sunday. Right now, created him. That's the guy right there. Okay, so we're good to go. So next, I want him now not only to create it, but to deploy it. I want him to go to Docker Hub. So let me go back here, go to configure, and now let me expand this. So I'll do the same thing again, copy this stage, copy the stage, and then paste it down here, paste it, and of course, bring this back here, and here I'll call it Docker push. After building, I want to push this to my Docker Hub repository. So now what is the command to push to Docker Hub? Who remembers? Who remembers the command?
Docker login.
No.
Docker push
Good.
the
Docker.
name,
Yeah.
the name of
Name
our
of the
image.
image.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that all?
Do we have to put the tag? I think we remove the dot.
Yeah. Good
No.
job. So we don't have to put the tag. I don't want to put the tag right now because if I put the tag, I need to introduce you guys to some level of Java coding to add the tag using the Jenkins file. If it's on the UI script, you can just type it, but using Jenkins file is a bit complicated. So I'll not talk about the tag right now. Let's just continue like this. So that is command to push. But for me to push, I first of all must do Docker login, like someone already said. So what I'll do is copy this command. I copy that command. And what is the command to login? The command is like someone said is Docker login. So let me remove all of this. It is Docker login and then -u. I put my username and then -p. I put my password. Now that is a command. That is the way I'm supposed to do to log into my Docker Hub. But now I want to give the information to Jenkins, so Jenkins can go and log into my account and then push it inside of it. So I need to create some variables in my Jenkins that's going to contain the username and then contain the password. So let's do that. Same thing, I'll go to the pipeline syntax. So click on pipeline syntax. Down here, what I want to do is I want to click here, scroll down to with credentials. Then when you're here, click on add username and password separated. Okay, down here, click on add Jenkins. Here, I'll type my Docker Hub username and password. That's my username. And this is my password. For the ID, I can type anything. Let me just type Docker Hub GH, doesn't matter. So I add it here. So now I click here and I select it, GH. Good. Now here you have to give a name to the variable. The variable is going to contain the username and then the password. So for the username, let me call it user, and for the password, PWT. Save time.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
So when we are putting the username and password, when we are building the job, the password is not going to show, right?
Exactly. That's why you do this way.
Okay.
Remember, when you create a variable, the variable is what contains the password. So you don't look at the password, you look at the container of that password, right?
Right.
Like
Yes.
in Terraform, like in Ansible, variable, same thing everywhere. When you understand the concept, it follows everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question, Ms. Jenny. We're going to use variables in Kubernetes again. So let's not forget variables. Good job. So I'm finished here. Click on generate pipeline script and then copy this. Go back here. What I'll do is I click up here, press enter, and I paste it there. All right. So let me remove this line here called some block. Remember this double slash here. It is to comment in Jenkins. That's why you see it is gray. It's not black. This is a comment here. This is a comment. This is a comment here, and this is a comment here. So I can remove this. Let me remove this comment. And I like to indent, and I like to put the brackets well. So let me shift it this way. Now I'm almost good here. The last thing I'll do is I'll copy this Docker login. I'll cut this Docker login, and I'll put it up here. Paste it anywhere here, it's fine. Good. So now I'm going to call the username variable in this command and the password variable. And if you remember, to call a username part, how do you call a variable? How do you call it? Who remembers? How do you call it?
Echo $sign. Is it?
Good job. $, curly bracket, user for this one. Sorry, curly bracket. $, curly bracket. Same thing here. It will be $, curly bracket, PWT. $, curly bracket, PWT. You can see we called it what? PWT and user. So I'm calling it here, but you call it inside $, curly bracket. Thank you for that, Ms. Karin. Good job. So what's going to happen? Jenkins will first of all check out, build the WAR file, enclose it in the Docker image, and then push the Docker image to our Docker repository. All right, so I can finish here. Let me actually add something. I'll say sh echo it is done, or echo it is done, or something like that. It puts like this, echo it is done. Any question? Are we okay?
I want to ask that we were doing Kubernetes. Right now, is it that you wanted to check, do something on Maven, or because I know we were doing Kubernetes, or we switch?
Yes. So remember, we are doing Kubernetes to connect it to our pipeline.
Okay.
Yes. So now I'm doing this because we're going to now build the pipeline now. We may not finish the whole pipeline today, but I want us to build the pipeline with this Jenkins file to push to Kubernetes.
Yes. So
So I'm
okay.
going back to this so we don't forget this.
All right. So we are doing the Jenkins file now to then pushing out to Kubernetes. Okay.
Yes. We'll not push to Kubernetes today because of course time and everything. I cannot do that today. But let's understand the Jenkins file thing first. I put on the website, but I know if I don't talk in class, there will be some questions. So I have to bring it again here so we all on the same page. Is it making sense, Ms. Karin?
Yes.
Okay, good. Any question? Anybody else? Are we okay? Do I assume that we are okay?
Just a question.
Go ahead, sir.
So if I know I'm still battling with the Jenkins file thing, but so with Jenkins file, we can just do a whole pipeline.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Including the Terraform and Kubernetes, everything on this pipeline.
Yes.
Wow.
Companies will not do it because, of course, because if you have one thing that does everything, in case that thing breaks, it's not good for the company. So most companies will not take one app and do everything. But in the interview, it's good to say, okay, you can write a Docker file, a Jenkins file that can do this and that and that. They'll be like, okay, that means this person understands, it's a good skill to have. And I want us to have that skill.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
But the company do not do that. Absolutely not. It's not safe for them. Yeah. Right. So apply, save. So build now. It's supposed to build the WAR file, enclose it in the Docker image, push it to Docker Hub. All right. Finishing is logging in, and now it's pushing. Docker push. It's pushing, and now it should finish any moment now. Success. So you see the benefit of the Jenkins file. I did not click. I just type code, and I pushed. So now if I go to my Docker Hub here, where's my Docker Hub here? I closed it. Oh, okay. hub.docker.com. Okay. Let me log in, sign in. Marvin Sunday. That's the guy I've just created right now. So you see that what I've done so far is I've used our Jenkins file to push all the way into our Docker Hub repository. Okay, now the next step will come back to this Jenkins file later again, is we're going to push all the way from Git all the way into our Kubernetes. The reason why I came here is for us to understand this thing first. We have done it in class. It's not just the recording now. There's recording and there's this one in class. So now we are all on the same page. Now let's go. Wow, already 4:30. Okay. Okay,
No break.
yes, let's take a short break. Short break. Short break. I understand.
Miss Jenny was saying that no break, no
No
break.
break.
I'm saying that no break. Yes.
Can
Please,
we
we need some break. We went to
know.
church, we came back, we
Say,
please,
Mr. Okay, don't beat also.
no,
Okay, just 5-minute break. Just
the brain is full.
I know. We have
We
done
have
something
eaten
new
a
right
lot.
now.
The brain has eaten a lot.
I know it's not a lot depending on where you're standing from. So I have to accommodate everybody. So we have to take a break. We have to. I think it's important. Let's take a 5-minute break. Like I said, we're going to finish a bit later today. Let's take a 10-minute break. Because we're taking 5. Let's take 10. That will be 15 for one day. Because we have a visitor today. That's why we're taking 15. So we're supposed to take 30 minutes break per day. But today, because of the visitor, so let's take our 10-minute break now. Come back, complete our Kubernetes. So now we understand Jenkins file. We have to finish understanding Kubernetes now. Like I said, we cannot understand the whole of Kubernetes one day. We're going to be building our knowledge. But I want us to build the whole pipeline. That's why now I had to do the Jenkins file thing. So now we have an idea of the snippet generator, why we do this, what we do this, Jenkins file, everything. Are we okay?
Yes.
All right, let's go for the break. 10-minute break, please, Mr. Kida. Mr. Kida, are you in class? Are you in class, sir?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
All right, 10-minute break, please, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kida. That is really, really good timing. What is happening here? Escape. All right, good. Perfect. All right. So we are back. We are back. We are back. This is a pretty interesting day. I know we could be tired, but please don't be tired. We have some work to do. Let me reconnect my. So by the way, when you leave your cluster on GCP for a while, this shell gets connected. What happens is just click on reconnect. It will reconnect for you, and you can continue where you stopped. So don't worry about it. So I'm back now. So is everybody back? I hope that we are back. Everybody. Nobody has gone, right? Okay, Ms. Jenny is back, Mr. Kida is back. I'm going to continue. I'm going to imagine that we're all back. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to mention some other terminologies. We may not mention all the terminologies right now. I know that time is against us, but I want us to at least have some things down, grounded up in us, grounded up. All right. So we have mentioned the nodes. Okay, just one question. What is a pod? Who can tell me what a pod is?
Pod is the smallest deployment in Kubernetes.
The smallest unit of deployment. Perfect. Awesome. That's what I want. All right. I'm going to introduce one other name again. I know I've introduced many terminologies in the last few days, but one last terminology. Like I said, I cannot go into everything. I'll make a video on the rest and put them online just to save time. This concept is concept of namespaces. Namespace. What is a namespace? Let me draw it. I think drawing actually helps a lot. So let's imagine that you're working in a team. You are working in the, let me say you are working in the dev team, and you're working with the QA team, and you guys are using the same Kubernetes cluster. Now, in the same cluster, there are nodes that you know that you're working on. You as a developer, you know you're working on these nodes. While the QA team, they know that they are working on these other nodes like this. However, there is no clear demarcation. It's not very good for the company. So what happens is, in every company, they have something called a namespace. A namespace is what? It's like a virtual environment where you can limit your resources. A virtual environment where you can limit your resources, or where you can store your resources, just like a VPC. It's inside of the cluster. It's like a virtual environment where you can store or enclose your resources. That's what it's called, a namespace. Just like a VPC, it's not a resource itself. It doesn't create anything. It just goes to demarcate. Like now they can call this namespace here the QA namespace, and they call this namespace here the dev namespace. Now with that, everybody in the company knows that this namespace is for me. I'm working here. This is my box. I am here. You know that I'm working there. So how do we talk about namespace now? Let's go into our terminal and talk about the namespace. Let me clear these drawings. If I do kubectl get ns, of course, click on authorize. NS means namespace. You can do kubectl get namespace if you want, but it's time, too much typing. Now you see that we have 4 namespaces. If you think about it, the namespace that you and I have been working with, let me just show you. If I do kubectl describe, let me just do kubectl get pod, and I'll copy this pod, and I'll show you guys the namespace that I'll be using. Let me copy it, and I say kubectl describe pod, and I put that pod there. Let me scroll up and show you something. You see that the namespace I'll be using is what? The default namespace. We have been working in the default namespace. So if I do get namespace again, so I'll be working inside of the default namespace right here. Now, if I say kubectl get pod, but I want to get pod in another namespace, not in this one, in another one. Let me say I want to check the pod in the kube system namespace. I'll do kubectl get pod -n. N for what? Namespace -n cube system. When I do this, he goes and checks and says, okay, please, no resources found in the cube system namespace. Let's create a namespace. I'll create a namespace, kubectl create ns. If I do this, he'll ask for the name. What name do you want to give to it? I say create ns Sunday class. He has created a namespace called Sunday class. So now if I do kubectl get namespace, now we have another namespace called Sunday class. Now what I'll do is I'll create a deployment in that namespace. I'll create a deployment in that namespace because right now, if I do kubectl, if I do kubectl, let me put that red light, it's important. Kubectl get pod in the Sunday class namespace. He's going to say there is no pod there because I've just created it, it is still empty. If I just do kubectl get pod like this, if you just do the command like this, without specifying the namespace, then by default, Kubernetes is going to search for the resources in the default namespace by default. If you don't tell him, he'll go to the default namespace. If I do this, he will check them in the default namespace. And in the default namespace, we have our different pod we created today. So now I'll create another deployment, but target it to be created in that namespace. So how do I do that? I'll do the same thing, kubectl create -f. I'll put the deployment name, but I'll tell him to put it in the namespace called Sunday class. So yeah, I'm telling you what, I'm telling you, Kubernetes, I want you to create a deployment, but create it in the namespace called Sunday class. Don't create it in the default, create it in the Sunday class namespace. If I do and I press enter, he has created it now for us in that namespace. So now if I do the same command, get pod -n Sunday class, now it's going to see 3 pods that were just created 9 seconds ago. They created it in a different namespace. Do we understand the concept of namespace now? It's like a virtual environment where we can use to separate our resources.
Yes.
Are we okay? Are we good?
Yes.
Yes.
Are we together? Mr. OK, Ms. Karin, Ms. Jenny, Mr. Kida, Mr. Valentine?
Yes, we're okay, sir.
Excuse me, that's separating 2 pods, am I correct? 2 nodes.
Namespaces. Namespaces, not pods.
2 what now? 2, is it 2 working spaces?
Yes, you can call it working spaces, but in the interview, don't say working spaces, it is called a namespace. It is just a way that you do to separate the resources you created in the company. To separate, it doesn't do anything per se, it's just like in a house, you have many rooms. All of those rooms should help so that when your son comes, they have their room, your daughters have their room, parents have their room, visitors have their room, but they're all in the same house, but they each have a room.
Yeah, my question now is, see, the name of the resource is Sunday class.
The name of the namespace is Sunday class.
Okay, what are we separating? So there has to be more than one resource we are separating one from the other, or is this, I mean, there has to be 2. I don't know how to explain what I'm asking. So there are 2 space.
No, they're not. Okay, let me show you again.
Or 2 something.
I do kubectl get ns. We first of all had 4 namespaces. I created this namespace right now, Sunday class, right now. So 3 minutes ago, you can see there, 3 minutes ago. Now, a namespace is created to demarcate, to separate resources, to put them in different zones, if you want, or different spaces. Okay.
All right. Now, so this cube node, cube public, cube system, the space, what separates them? Each of them is separated by the namespace called Sunday class. Is that?
No. Think of it like this is a house, right? When you create your Kubernetes house, it comes with 4 rooms. 4 rooms. The first room is called default. The second room is called cube node list. The third room is called cube public. The fourth room is called cube system. I did not create those rooms. They come when you create your cluster by default. Now, the company may have some things that they don't want to use the default namespace. They don't want to use the default rooms already there. They want you to create another room and then put things in that room. And that room is, of course, when I'm saying room, I'm talking about namespace. Now they tell you that, please, Mr. Okay, we want you to create these resources, but put these resources in a different place. Don't mix them with these ones. Put them in a different place. That means put them in a different namespace. So you need to create a namespace. So let me say the name of the company is called Okay and Sons. So I'm going to create a namespace and call it Okay and Sons. So kubectl create ns Okay and Sons. When I do that, Kubernetes creates a different room, a different namespace, a different environment, still in my cluster. Let me draw it. So now we have our cluster like this. We have the 4 default ones, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 default rooms, which were created by Kubernetes. But now they hire you and they give you a job. You create a different namespace and call this Okay and Sons and Sons. Now they want you to deploy resources in that namespace. So you're going to deploy resources inside here. Because remember, these ones were already created, they were already there, the default namespace are there. But they don't want you to use the default, they want you to create a different one and then put the resources in that namespace.
Oh, okay.
And let's do that. So I'll do this. I'll type here kubectl Kubernetes. I want you to create using the file called deployment.yaml. Create that deployment, but put it in the namespace called Okay and Sons. When I do this, he's going to create the deployment, but now put it inside of the Okay and Sons namespace. So now, let me clear my screen. If I tell him now that kubectl, I want you to show me the ports inside of the Okay and Sons namespace. Okay and Sons namespace. When I do that, he is now seeing that we have 3 ports inside of the Okay and Sons namespace. Is it making sense now, Mr. Okay?
Yeah.
So if I just do now, instead of get ports, I tend to get all in the Okay and Sons namespace. Get all. ALL. He's going to show me the ports, the deployment, and the replica set. Because remember, when you create a deployment, the deployment always has replica sets and ports. Let's never forget that.
So I have a question.
Go ahead, Ms. Karin.
This deployment in Kubernetes, is it the same like deployment when we're talking about a pipeline? Like
No,
absolutely
not.
Totally different.
Let's remember deployment in Kubernetes here is just me like, okay, think of deployment like
moving things.
Yes, I'm trying to use a word, but the thing is that in the company they will call it deployment. Let's keep the word deployment. So a deployment in Kubernetes is like bringing or creating containers which are going to hold your app from your artifact that you created in your pipeline, creating it and then monitoring it with Kubernetes. That's what they call a deployment.
Okay.
So that is why when they say CI/CD, it's because that deployment is going into Kubernetes. So look at it from 2 points of view. For us out here, we the developers, We are calling the deployment for us. It is going from here into Kubernetes. To Kubernetes also, which is a house, which is containing the containers, they also call it a deployment. So he is receiving a deployment, but we are sending a deployment. Kubernetes is receiving. We are deploying it to it, but he is receiving it. Are you getting it?
Yes.
Like what we did today. We delivered it into Docker Hub. The next step now is we can write a Docker. In fact, we can do it. Do we have time? Let's do it. We're going to create a deployment that is going to pull our Docker image that we created today into our Kubernetes and then run the container from it. Would that make some sense to you guys? Would that, are we together? Miss Karin, is that making sense?
Yes,
Yeah, we are together.
Okay, let's continue. Does that answer your question, Miss Karin? Are you okay? You're quiet.
Maybe in Kubernetes we create our containers. We are the one we create the container. If we like, we can take it from a Docker Hub. I mean the image. We can take it from Docker Hub too, right?
When you say create, what do you mean by that?
Because I'm seeing you using Kubernetes create from this deployment file.yaml to Mr. Ok's this thing.
Namespace.
Namespace.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
So remember this. I told us that already last week. Let me say it again. Kubernetes, when you do it, let's go and look at it. Let's go and look at it. What is that? No, sorry, let me go back there. Let me clear my screen. Clear my screen. And let me cut the deployment.yaml file. Wait, am I the ls? Okay, cut deployment.yaml. Now, this is telling Kubernetes to go and pull an image. And what is the name of the image? Nginx. Sorry, Nginx. And where is Kubernetes going to pull this? It's going to pull it from Docker Hub by default. You don't need to tell him, he knows it is Docker Hub. So your job is write the YAML file and tell Kubernetes where to go and pick it up from and bring it in. Is it making sense?
Yes.
Let's change it now. So now let me VI into this file and tell him to pick up our own image. So VI deployment.yaml. If I go to my Docker Hub, let me go repositories. It is Marvin Sunday. So let me copy this name. Go back here. And here I'll tell him, pick up the name Marvin Sunday. I just copy it very well. Like that. And then come back like this. And then bring it up right. So that is the name of the image. Let me change this also to, let me just call this Marvin_Sunday. App is going to be Marvin_Sunday, Marvin_Sunday. And app, same thing here. No, match labels, let me leave it to be Nginx. Doesn't matter. This is just for match. This is, so what is this? What is this for? Who can tell me what is this for? What is that for? Who remembers?
Is that not the label?
Yes. What is it for?
Label links the
Link.
it links, is it it links two things. I think
Yes.
it's selector and something, I don't know.
It links the deployment to
Deployment to I forgot, I escaped my memory, I don't remember.
That's right. It links the deployment to our service, that is our load balancer or whatever it is want to expose.
Okay.
Right?
But Prof, see, sometimes this label is longer than, some labels are longer than others. It brings a lot of confusion to me.
Longer how? Like, you mean the naming?
I mean, the length, you see a label is 3 lines when you wear, some others, a few more lines longer than others.
Yes, it depends on, it's basically up to the company Like I can add a label here. Let me actually add a label here. Now, if I can add a label. Let me go here. And here I can add tier. And I want the tier to be any word. Let me say dev, for example. So now this is an extra line I've added to my label. So I need to add the same thing in the service.yaml. Remember, because that's what connects them together. So escape colon wcure. Okay, vi into service.yaml. So inside here, let me go back up to the labels. And here I'll come here and I'll write tier dev. If I don't do that, they will not be able to connect to each other. So I've added it. So now they should be able to still connect. Now let me come down here. Sorry, the selector, I have to also put it here. Come down here to the selector. I have to also put it here. What did I do? Nginx. It is actually here. I was supposed to put it tier dev. I'm supposed to add in the selector actually, not the label, but in the selector. So now they're going to recognize each other now. Okay, escape colon wcure. Now what I'll do is I'll first of all delete our present deployments and create these new ones. So kubectl delete, let me just say kubectl get deployment. Okay, so kubectl, I want you to delete the deployment called Nginx. Okay, by deleting deployment, so he will delete also what? What will you also delete?
Load balance.
No. The load balance is
delete the nodes and the
nodes?
The nodes and the what do you call the other one? Controller replicas, yeah.
He's going to do the replica set and the pods.
And the pods.
Not the nodes.
Oh, I'm sorry. That makes, yes, correct.
Okay. Good job. So if I do kubectl get all now, we'll see nothing. Nothing anymore, just our service that we created. Nothing else because I've deleted them. Now let me create them again. So kubectl, I want you to create based on the file I've created here, based on deployment.yaml. So with some example here, it says, I put Marvin Sunday. Okay, in there. So we are not supposed to put any underscore in the spec. Right. So let me do that. Vi into the deployment.yaml. In the, where is it? In the labels, yeah, under here. They don't want to see any underscores. So let me just delete this. I'll call it Marvin. We just call it Marvin. Okay. Marvin, escape colon wcure. Okay, same thing. I'll go to the service.yaml, come down here, and I'll just call it Marvin. Okay, I didn't put it here. All right, so we are good to go. Okay, so apply deployment invalid. What did I do there? Oh, it's not renaming completely. Oh, shoot. YAML, this one here. I have to change this name, metadata, change it to Marvin. So I have Maven up here. We have it, Maven here and Maven here.
You're not changing the app. The app is Nginx.
Which one? Where is it? Okay, yes. Let me go and fix that also. What's happening? Okay, go back up in the app. Let me call it Maven. It shouldn't matter, but let me just add it there. It's right. Maven Sunday. All right. Okay, what else did it say? No underscore. I've removed the underscore there. It says map string app Maven. Selector does not match template Maven. Okay, you see. All right, that actually makes sense now. So create, let me clear my screen. Create. What are we missing now? Wait, what is missing here with underscore? You didn't have any underscore here. Oh, the name. That's with the same name. Marvin also here. Wait, no, error. Okay, good, that's better. Let me check the service.yaml to be sure that it's clear. There's no underscore here, right? No underscore. Okay. Okay, so now, wait, what's I'm talking about? The deployment marvel is evaluate spec template marvel, map string, app maven, selector does not match template. Oh, the select so this guy's the select so where is he here? Okay. So you don't want that. So this will be maven here. Do I have it in Nginx anyway? Let me move this up guy up here. Got here maven. Okay, and also here maven space. Okay, maven. Do I have any Nginx here? I don't. Okay. And just to be sure, go back to the deployment of YAML, maven. Yes, we should be good here. Okay, should be good here as well. So let's click on WQ. Create now. What is missing still? Selector does not match template labels. Selector does not match
The
template.
string.
Where is that? Am I missing it? This is Maven here. Template.
Do you put it in string? Because
Yes, a string, yeah. No, okay, no, in Kubernetes, don't put the quotes, then to put the quotes in YAML files. You don't put the quotes, it's in Terraform, not here. So let me go and check the service, the YAML. Name is Maven, app Maven. So what is the error here?
that namespace default.
Namespace, no, that the namespace is fine. That's the default namespace, remember. I mean, the default namespace is fine. So what I'll do is, I know what I'll do. kubectl get all. I'll tell him to delete that service there. Okay, so kubectl. I want you to delete the service called Nginx. Delete it. All right. Delete it. So if I go now in my terminal here, if I go to services, I refresh my page, it should no more be there. Refresh the page. Okay, now it's deleted. 0 out of 0. Go back to workloads. We should see nothing here. Oh, okay, these are different namespaces. That's fine. Those are in the different namespaces. That's right. So let's go back. Okay, you see there's no more load balancer here. Good. Let's go back to our cluster. Click on the Sunday cluster and then connect to it, run a Cloud Shell. Okay, let's continue. I need to do this. kubectl get all. So I have nothing now. There's nothing here. So now I'll tell him kubectl apply create-f deployment of YAML. What is the error you see here? Selector does not match template labels. Wow. Wait, template labels. What am I missing? I haven't up. What is this in here again? Maven. It's app Maven. Yeah, it's fine. Name Maven, app Maven. Okay. Now let me VI into the deployment of YAML. Yeah, we'll ask him app Maven dev template is metadata app Maven.
Because we have match labels. Is it supposed to be separated?
Yes, it's okay. Match labels, remember that's what we are using to connect it with the load balancer. So that's fine.
Okay.
I think the issue could be he's saying that the error is on these labels, but I'm seeing it's spelled the same. Am I missing something here? It is well spelled. Let me see something. So he says, let's read the error message. The deployment Maven is invalid. Spec template metadata labels. Invalid value. Map string app Maven. Selector does not match template labels. Selector does not match template Maven. Selector and labels. Let me go back to the deployment YAML. Selector and labels. Selector, we have app Maven. labels, we have app Maven. So what's the problem there? Let me see here, app Maven. Okay, just to save time, what I'll do is, let me just write Nginx there. Let me use the Nginx to save time. And move this and call it Nginx Nginx. Okay. Come up here, Nginx deployment. I'm thinking that there's something that on that Maven spelling there's no understanding. I don't know why, but okay, Nginx. Okay, so yeah, we're good to go here. And then VI service the YAML, same thing here. This is for the service called Nginx. App Maven here is called Nginx. Okay, come down here. It is not Maven, it is Nginx. Okay, so escape colon WQ. I think I get it now. I think I see the error I'll be making. This thing, who's this guy? Yes, remove that guy there. There's something wrong somewhere. What error is it here? Match labels. Let me see. What error is blocking us right now? Let me roll this one. There's one misspelling somewhere. To save time, I'll just remove this tier and go back to how it was before. Okay, create it now. Oh, that was the error that we were having. Okay, that makes sense. All right. So the error I'll be having was, let me go and show you guys the error I'll be having. When we added this second match labels down here, we called it tier colon dev. By doing that, we were asking him to create a second load balancer, but it's not complete the code. So it has been blocking, saying the same error. It says not matching, not matching, not matching. So by the time I remove that second label, it worked now. Are we together? Only I can see me, only Miss Karen is there. Are we together? I can see Miss Genesis. Okay.
Yes, we're together, sir.
All right. So what then do we have right now? We have written our Kubernetes YAML file. Before we go, I told you guys that there is a way that you can do to create a deployment without writing the file. Now let's imagine that tomorrow one of you guys choose that you want to do the certification. For example, now when I say tomorrow, not literally tomorrow, but you can choose to. It is a timed exam, it's a timed examination. So it's advised not to write deployment files when you're writing the exam. Just write the command on your terminal. So let's do that today. So if you want to write a YAML file, like you want to write the creation of a deployment on your terminal like that, without creating a YAML file, let's do that. kubectl create. Now let's say I want him to use the namespace called OK and Sons. OK and Sons. Do you remember how I created this? How I created the namespace? Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay. I have to pause to be sure because since everybody's muted, I'm not sure. I hope that we're together so far. So I'm going to ask him that please create in the namespace called OK and Sons, create a deployment and call that deployment web app, for example, and use an image called Nginx for it. So kubectl create in the OK and Sons namespace a deployment called web app and use the image Nginx for that deployment. Okay, I press enter. Wait, what's the error here? Dash image. What am I missing here? Okay, if I remove this, what has changed on this Kubernetes again? It's supposed to be like this. With what's happening here? I put this one here. It has changed here again. No. This is the command I use to see that work. Okay, let me check something. So I'll copy this command, paste it there, and put there dash help. Okay, I guess I'm missing something here. So dash port, dash image. Yeah, that's it. Dash image. Oh, okay. So I see the mistake. I made. Yeah. Okay. It's equals to. Yeah. So kubectl or Kubernetes, I want to create inside of the OK and Sons namespace, create a deployment, call that deployment web app, and use the image called Nginx for it. And I press enter. So it goes and creates it for us. So now if I do kubectl get pod in the OK and Sons namespace, OK and Sons, you see he has now created. This is the previous one that we had. This one was already running. So now you can see another one, web app, that we just created right now, right here. Is it making sense? We are okay. Are we good, Mr. Okay? Mr. Akida, sorry.
Yes, we're good.
Mr. Okay, question?
No, I'm good. I'm just wondering when will you're going to offload the
Okay. Okay, Ms. Karin says okay. So now we have created a deployment with a file that we copied from the internet and we have created it. Now I've just created it with a command. Now, what time is it? Let's just take 5 more minutes. What if I want to create an image, but I want to create it in a way that I don't want it to be created. I want to create just the file without typing a file. I want to write a command and then create that file. So simply said, what if I want to create a YAML deployment file without writing, without doing VI? How do I do that? Miss Jenny, are we together? You haven't said we are okay in the chat. Are we there, Miss Jenny? I hope that we're on the same page. Okay, good. So for that, I'll just use the same command here. But there's something called dry run. So dry run is a command in Kubernetes that you use to tell Kubernetes to create a YAML file for you. So I'll add at the end here, -- dry run -o YAML. Now, who can tell me why am I doing -o YAML? Who can tell me why? Who can guess why?
Because that's what language he uses.
Good job. It's obvious, but I have to ask. It's because YAML language is the language in which the Kubernetes manifests are written. So at the end, I'll use this command and I say, for example, web app.yaml. Now, what is this command? What is that command and what does it do?
It copies this information into web app.
Sorry?
It directs.
What is the name of the command? Someone said it. Someone just said the name of the command.
Direct.
Redirect. Please don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Try to be assured. Even if you are, let me not say even if you are wrong, but try to, even if you are not sure, you say something here and they ask you to repeat it. It shows confidence in yourself. If you are unsure, it means you're not confident. It's good to be confident if possible. All right. What is this? Oh, something has changed. The dry run is deprecated. Can be replaced with dry run equals to client. Oh, something has changed. Oh, Kubernetes remove dry run. This is new. Okay, that's fine. That's all right. Why did you remove it? Okay, that's fine. You guys ignore this one. I think they've removed the dry run command. I don't know why they say it's duplicated. So this duplicated simply means that the command has been put away if you want. It has been shifted if you want. To be shifted. So let's keep the command for another time. Sorry?
Or we can say no more we don't use it no more.
Exactly. It's just like, for example, you have been using a car for a long time, you choose to put it away. You have duplicated it. But that's an IT term. Okay. So today I've looked at a YAML file. We have created it, created our deployment, created our service, seen in our browser. Then we have gone and looked at our Jenkins file, created a complete pipeline with that Jenkins file. I've completed talking about the namespace, talking about creating our deployment with a command on the terminal, and talking about creating also from a file that we copy from the internet to create it. And we also saw it in the browser. Are we okay? Any questions so far?
No questions, sir.
All right. So last thing before we go. Yes, last thing. Hello, Mr. Kida. So we're having some trouble here, sir. So our deployment is failing. Please, we want you to go and troubleshoot it. What's happening? Can you troubleshoot it for us? What is that thing that you can do to be able to check a deployment and then maybe try and fix it? I looked at the new command. It is kubectl edit. So if I do kubectl,
wait, you say kubectl exit?
Edit, I'll type
it. EXEC. Okay.
No, just wait, I'll type it. So first of all, let me do kubectl get all. I can see we have our ports running, where everything is good to go there. All right. Now I'll do kubectl edit to edit something, Mr. Kida. Edit. And to edit a deployment. And to edit a deployment called Nginx. So by doing this, it opens the deployment file of our deployment called Nginx. This is there. If you read what it's saying that please read it on your screen. Let me highlight it. It says, please edit the object below. Lines beginning with a pound sign will be ignored, and an empty file will abort this edit. If an error occurs while saving this file, it will be reopened with the relevant failures. All right. So let's say I want to edit this. I want to increase the number of replicas. So I come down here and I add this to be 10 replicas. 10. So 10 ports. So I finished. I do my escape colon WQ. Enter. So now it says deployment edited. If I do again kubectl get all, you will now see 10 exactly. 10 ports because I changed the replicas from 3 to 10. So we added 7 more. So now you can see here we have 10 out of 10. Are we getting it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So yesterday we did the same thing, but we did it on a terminal. We did kubectl. We did a command to increase the number of selectors. Someone said yes, Prof. So Mr. OK, I'm not saying, Mr. OK, are we good? Mr. OK, please answer. Mr. Valentine too. Mr. Valentine has been quiet since we started. I don't know how that is with us, but maybe he's busy. Mr. OK, can I assume that we are fine? Yeah,
hello. I stepped out and
a question?
I heard my name. No, I heard my name. I thought I was not. I stepped out and I heard.
Oh, okay, okay. So I was asking for if we are clear, if we're on the same page. Are we good?
We'll be good when we read it up.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry, Miss Karin.
No, I wanted to say that Mr. OK is at work, so he was distracted. So
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So yesterday we looked at the command to edit our deployment, increase the replicas on the terminal. Mr. Kida added the command already in the file. Please, the file is up on the website or in the Telegram group. Check it out. He's adding questions there. Commands are there also. You guys can just be like that. Like Miss Annie said today, the file is going to be helping us just go and check answers, question answer. You're looking at it, you're thinking about it. You can just be reading as you're driving or as you're walking or whatever. At least it's just flying around in your head. All right. So now, a little recap. We have created deployment, edited deployment, created service to YAML, checked it on our browser. Now I've done just load balancer, but I can change it to be a node port, but it's the same procedure. Let us continue as it is. Load balancer, node port. We understand that yesterday we mentioned the difference between load balancer and node port. Should I ask it? Let me ask it. What is the difference between the node port and the load balancer?
Yes, a question.
Between network, what?
No, difference between a node port and load balancer in Kubernetes. We spoke about it yesterday. Okay.
A load balance.
Yes, go ahead.
Say balances the load. Or balances.
Yes, and the node port.
Node port.
Okay, to save time, let me draw it. We have our node, we have our port here. If we have just one port, we can put a node port here, and this node port is going to open our pod to have access from the internet. This is the node port. On the other hand, the load balancer, if there's a load balancer and this is the internet here, is going to open access, but this is where we have many pod. Remember, I said that yesterday. Load balancer is when we have many pods. When we have just one pod, we can use our node pod. Are we together?
Yes, we're together.
Okay. I'm going to assume that we are tired. So that is a little revision. I had to just mention that. Let's not forget node pod, one pod. Load balancer, many. Node pod, one. Load balancer, many. All right. And we also looked at our Jenkins file. We deployed to our Docker Hub with our Jenkins file. And lastly, we spoke about the deployment. We spoke about the namespace, why it's important, how to access it with the -n. And now I've seen how to create a deployment with just command on the command line. Let me go up arrow to look at the command again. That is it. Kubestack create in the OK and Sons namespace a deployment called web app and use, let me remove this one behind here. I use the image called Nginx. And we did it, I created it for us. So now if I do kubectl get pod, before we go, get pod in the namespace called OK and Sons, you can see the pod in Mr. OK namespace. Question, Ms. Karin?
no. Sorry.
Question, anybody? Are we good?
Yes.
Yes, we're good, sir.
All right, perfect. Let's stop there. You guys take time. I know that you may have questions later when you watch the video. Please watch the video. The assignment is the same. Create the deployments. Create it. Please send picture on the website. Thank you for those who did the assignment recently. I saw the assignment and marked them. For those who did. For those who haven't done, you already know how to do it. I don't need to say how to do it. You know how to do it. Do the code, take a picture, put in the Microsoft Word file, upload the Microsoft Word file. Simple. Please do it. Like I said, assignment is for you, it's not for me. It's for you. Question, Mr. Kida?
I was just gonna say, if you guys want, we could work on it tomorrow around 8, if anybody's free. I'm probably start working on it
Okay,
tomorrow.
Mr. Kida, I will see if we can work.
8 what? PM, AM?
PM.
Good job. All right. PM. 8 PM for those available. Mr. Kida and Miss Karen, they say they could be available. Mr. Kida is available, Miss Karen will check. For those who can join, so we're talking about that in the revision, in the study group over there. All right, everyone, I hope that makes sense, everybody. Once you are done, always delete your cluster because it's going to use your credit for nothing. So me, I'll delete my cluster too, just so I have my credit available. So select it and then delete it. Type here Sunday cluster. Let me just copy it over here. Copy and then paste, delete. Let's not use up my free credit for nothing. All right. So if there's no other question, let us call it a day. Please reach out for any questions, please. We're almost
please,
at the
I have
end.
this quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
We just dive into the Kubernetes terminal. Did we download, install it?
No.
Or we downloaded it?
No, but I didn't talk about that. I said download Minikube. That's what I said to do.
Okay, we just go to Visual Studio Code and start.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I told you, everybody, the installation of Kubernetes is not an issue. They will never ask you to install it at the company. They are going to ask you, can you use it? Don't just forget about it.
We need it to work.
Thank you. We need it to help ourselves.
But that's it on Kubernetes on your Google Cloud. I've been doing it where?
So go to Google Cloud. I will install it.
Create a deployment. Sorry, create a cluster like I did today again, and then go from there.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
The Minikube, it is like I said yesterday, if you want to do it in your computer at all costs. But why would you want to? You have free $300 credit on your Google Cloud. Just use it.
Okay. Meaning we must not necessarily install the Minikube, right?
You must not necessarily do it.
Okay.
I want for you guys to do it just in case.
All right.
Because it's going to finish earlier or later. They want to keep on practicing. You do it in your computer. So I'm going to do a video next week on, for those who cannot install Minikube. Normally, if you just double click it, it should install for you. But for those who cannot install Minikube, who can do, just let me know who can do a video on it. And this week coming up, like I told when Miss Annie was there, we're going to have a session on our LinkedIn account. For those who don't have one already, for those who have one, for your previous job, we may need for you to create a new one. So you may need to get a new email address for this other LinkedIn, or the present LinkedIn you have, you can shut it down and then create another one, or create a new email address for the other LinkedIn. It's up to you. Maybe we need to have a LinkedIn account. Yeah. And I sent a sample resume in the group for those who didn't see it. I sent a sample resume. I'll send another one again for those who didn't see the previous one. So you can use it, replace the name, you can replace it, put some, I've put some technical experience using Jenkins. I just put some things there. You can leave those ones there. You can adjust as you want to. We are going to come to class and do a class where we talk about resume and LinkedIn and all of that.
Okay. Thank you for
this week, please. You're welcome. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your week. We cannot just modify. Yeah, it's true. You can modify the old LinkedIn, but the issue is if on your present LinkedIn, if they see that you're working as a health worker, and then tomorrow they say you're doing DevOps.
Yeah, to see 419.
How overnight you have 3 years of experience in DevOps? Wow.
Then tomorrow you have one.
You say disappear appear with 3 years experience. No. They'll say, That's why I will not advise to modify the old one. Especially you have connections there, you have friends there, you have colleagues there. They see you switch development. Yes, if you could just delete. Yeah. If you don't want to create a new email, just delete it and create a new one. Much better. That's what I did myself when I changed department, when I changed LinkedIn. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. We had a long day today, but at least we learned a lot today, and we had a visitor today come and encourage us. So a meeting this week, like I said, please plan to join if possible. Take care, everyone. Good job. Thank you so much, Mr. Oki, for joining, and for everybody who could join at work, at home, whatever. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.